Brett, I'm almost scared to ask, but who is your garbage person of the week?
I had to change it because you stole mine. All right. My garbage person is a bunch of folks that feel the need to go against the word of Jesus Christ and pray in public for clout. I bring you Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand, seen here on Decoding the Guru's subreddit. Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand close out their joint speech by leading 25,000 people in the Lord's Prayer. I don't know what's happened to Russell Brand, whose comedy I like, who I've done segments with on my shows, and who is a genius, a brilliant, flitting person, and can come up with anything in a half a second. Why does he come up with this trash now? Like, what has happened where someone who seemed to make so much sense in nonsensical ways now just makes so little sense in nonsensical ways? If it is the case that you, sir, have made this biblical turn, if that is really what's happened to you, if this is genuine and not part of some meta turn that is so much smarter than my feeble mind is able to keep up with, then why are you going against the word of the Lord, Matthew 5:6, which it says, when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites who love to pray publicly on the street corners and in the synagogues where everyone can see them. I tell you the truth, that is all the reward they will ever get. This guy has gone out and Russell Brand, I'm praying all over the place these days. It's amazing. I saw a video where this guy is like, I've changed who I am, and I've realized you can live for yourself or you can live for God. And I'm a celebrity, and so I have been living for myself, but now I'm living for God. It's like, bro, you are doing the thing that is for yourself. The only reward you are getting in the eyes of your Savior, Jesus Christo, is that you are getting the adulation of a bunch of people whom you are leading astray clockwise. Mm-hmm. I am translating this into your own logic and your own parlance, but like, you can encourage people to do this stuff. Don't do it on camera.
Yeah.
That's it. If you really want to put your money where your mouth is, do that.
The interesting thing about the Bible is there's definitely parts, specific parts and general topics where there's ambiguity. You can read into it whatever you want. You could even come to like the totally wrong conclusion about things like abortion or whatever. But then there's times where it is so specific, so clear. And a lot of religious people are like, I like what I do better. Screw you, Bible. And there's no ambiguity about that. It is mocking the people who performatively pray. Super specific, and you can see why they might do that, why that might be bad. And yet, if you're trying to make money off of it, if you're trying to make a brand out of it, I don't mean Russell Brand, I mean a literal brand of I'm the religious guy now, then you're not gonna listen to that thing. Come on, that stops you from doing it. I don't know Russell Brand. I might have done one video with him. I'm not even sure that that's the case. I don't know him. Maybe this is super authentic. I don't know. There's a thing though, and I'm not even specifically talking about him. Obviously, there is a lot of people who really want people to listen to what they have to say, not because what they have to say needs to be heard, but because they want people to listen to whatever they say, and they will say whatever they have to say to have people listen to them, and they will chase after a crowd of people to listen to them. And if that can also pay a lot, then that's even better. And that typically tends to be Republican stuff that pays well. And so that's the grift train generally goes rightward. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but it generally does.
Right. I think he's like, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, and then my other thing is there's a type of person. So people who are super dogmatic in their thinking and rigid and never listen to anyone they don't agree with. That could be a bad thing. You could be brittle in that way, ideologically, mentally. But then there's also like a malleability where your brain and what you think is kind of like putty. And if you just go around pressing yourself up against different things and different people, it leaves impressions that you may not even realize that it does. Not because you've thought about it and come to new conclusions, but just because like, I guess that was the last person that did my podcast with me. So I guess that's my worldview now. And I don't know if that's necessarily better than the brittle one. It's different.
So
anyway, what do you
Russell
think?
Brand, I think, is a different category, and Joe Rogan's a slightly different category. Russell Brand is the category where everything he says he thinks is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you just keep building on that and not checking back on reality. You just check back on the stuff you yourself have said. This is narcissism, pretty textbook. And wherever that leads you is the right place. And there are people all over the place who will obviously echo and parrot this, and they just want you to on Rumble so they can make more money on Rumble. But I think he's that category. By the way, you know who loves Kamala Harris? Jesus does. How else would I have this photo? Yeah. This is a photo.
She must be loved. He bequeathed to her several hundred new commandments.
Yeah.
I had a lot of hope for AI when it came out, and much of that hope has gone away. But I'm glad, just because of you, that it exists. Because of what you do with it. Not everything you do with it. A lot of it I never ever want to see. But some of the stuff is pretty good. Your pictures of Harris riding a velociraptor while leading troops into battle, they're pretty good.
Can you believe she won the title?
Oh my God.
She won
I didn't even know she was
titles.
a boxer.
And they put them all on one belt. Can you believe that?
I don't think that AI knows how belts work. But anyway, good garbage person. I like it. And again, I don't know. I mean, look, in 3 years, that's pretty awesome. In 3 years, I like the shoulder pads on that.
I made her Khaleesi and I texted it to John and he just wrote back, I'd enlist.
Yes, I would. Russell Brand back in 2015, 2016 or whatever was very much in the Bernie train. And he was very focused, not just like he was on that side. He was very focused on, universal healthcare and stuff like that. And people, they just drift. Maybe someday he'll be back on that. Maybe the religion thing will fall away and there'll be something else. I don't know. Again, I don't know the person. I don't know what's in his heart or whatever. I just know what I see in media. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.